Hey, everybody. Welcome to TGC Radio. I'm your host, Jonathan, and today with me is one of the writers from our website.
I'm Patrick.
Hey, Patrick, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. How about you?
Doing good. So you've been with us writing for the website for I think almost since the beginning of the organization, right?
I started second semester last year. It was like early second semester last year.
Okay, got you. So right
Must be
before
end of first semester.
it may have been. It was before the plague that is set upon the
Yeah,
earth
that's
began.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Patrick's written some really great articles for our website. You know, you've written some top tens. We'll actually be discussing one of your articles later today. Um, so we'll go ahead and get started with the first story we have today, and we'll just be discussing like all the stories we have from last week's roundup. So this TGC Radio, if you've never tuned in before, is just where we sort of discuss the news rather than just simply, state it to you. So we'll go ahead and start with Animal Crossing because apparently Animal Crossing has gotten some new Valentine's Day items. Do you have a Switch, Patrick?
I used to have one. I actually sold it a few weeks ago to one of my friends because I just never really used it that much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never owned a Switch, but it just seems like everybody I know who has a Switch, they own Animal Crossing.
People are obsessed with this game.
Yeah, and I mean, like I'm a big fan of Doom, and when Doom Eternal came out, it came out on the same day as Animal Crossing. There was this really like adorable,
Oh, I remember that.
yeah, like collaboration between the Doom community and the Animal Crossing community, where they had like Isabelle and Doom guys just
Isabel in hell slaying demons.
yeah, like somebody created a Doom mod where you can have Isabelle as like a companion in classic Doom, and I thought that was just so awesome. I was like that's so cool, but yeah, with the Animal Crossing New Horizons, they're doing a new update. It's going to add some Valentine's Day content for you to buy. So I'll go ahead and read you guys the article right here. It says until February 14th, players can order two special items celebrating Valentine's Day, a chocolate heart and a heart-shaped bouquet. Both items can be purchased from the seasonal tab in Nook Shopping and cost 1,200 bells apiece. They're available in different colors. There's a couple of other seasonal items for the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool. Like they have a football rug and a cheer megaphone. Did you watch the Super Bowl this Sunday?
I did. It was not much of a game to watch, however.
Yeah, I heard it was like a stomping. Like they lost horribly, whichever team
Oh my
lost.
God, it was awful. It was, I don't remember the score, but the Chiefs just could not complete a pass to save their lives.
Yeah. Well, luckily there is no Chiefs-specific memorabilia in Animal Crossing New Horizons, so no one could buy that stuff and then be disappointed. Like, oh, my Animal Crossing house now has Chiefs rug and flag, and they lost horribly.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. But no, it seems just like some generic football rug and a cheer megaphone. But it's cool that they included the Super Bowl. It's kind of odd because I wouldn't expect like a Japanese game to include that. But I guess I know who their audience is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
So that's pretty cool. But here's the most interesting thing I found in this article, though, other than the seasonal content update. Apparently, Animal Crossing New Horizons is the first console exclusive game in history to surpass more than 30 million copies sold.
Yeah, I saw that. That was shocking to me. And
Mm.
honestly, I feel like COVID played probably a big part in that. Like, so many people like our age and stuff didn't have anything to do, so they got a Switch and they
Yeah.
got this game because like, they're already like the people who are hyped about this game, and then there were also a lot of articles I saw like, God, this was like back in March or April saying like, hey, this game is like trying to like help relieve stress due to like COVID and everything, like helps make you feel better, helps make you like feel better about the world a little bit.
Yeah. And it's just like I said earlier, everybody I know who has a Switch has this game, and it just the hype around it has been crazy. And yeah, I definitely agree with you that it has definitely helped people cope with the situation we've all been living in for like the past year. Like, you have a
Yeah,
nice
almost a
little,
year now.
yeah, like you have a nice little island and everything. You can customize it. It's great. If I ever do get a Switch, I definitely plan to pick it up and try it because it's loved by a lot of people. But that's it for Animal
That
Crossing.
was one game I was always curious about on Switch. Like I thought about getting it back in March. It was just like it just doesn't seem like my kind of game.
Oh, New Horizons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really seem like I've never really had that kind of game before either. And
Mm.
but I'm interested in playing it because of that. Because I've never had an Animal Crossing game. Because I've never played a game like that. It just seems like an interesting new concept that I could play around with. So
Yeah,
I
I
definitely
can
think it's
see
fun. Yeah. But one of the games that I do play a lot is Apex Legends, and their newest season started last week, and that's season 8. So
that. Right.
Apex has had 8 seasons now since they launched, and I mean this past season, it pretty much if you've played Apex before, you know what every new season entails. Maybe a new map or at least some map updates, a new legend, pretty much guaranteed. Maybe a couple new weapons. So
Mhm.
for this season, they added a new legend called Fuse. So his kit is really based around using like lots of explosives. It's very flashy, offensive play
Yeah, I saw your
style.
article about this. He was all about the grenades.
Yeah, like just and you know what? One of the features that Fuse has, speaking of grenades, is like he can hold one more grenade per inventory slot. So have you played Apex?
I have not played Apex actually.
So in your inventory, where like you've probably seen like a battle royale's inventory system before, like they have different like little boxes,
Yeah.
and you can only hold usually like if it's ammo multiple in one box, or like if another item one per box. So you can only hold one grenade per box. And I always thought that was weird because I was like, why can't I stack 2 at most? And I guess it's because I've played a lot of Call of Duty, so in my mind I've always imagined holding 2 grenades at once.
Mhm.
So I've always why isn't that just a normal feature? But that's a feature of Fuse is that you can hold one grenade, more than one grenade per inventory slot. So I'm like, I
Yeah,
feel like
I'm trying to think. The last like real shooter that I played was probably it might have been like it might have been Destiny back in like senior year of high school or something. And that one, you just have one grenade that eventually recharges.
okay, it's like on a cooldown sort of.
Yeah, it's like you throw it, wait, I don't know, like it was 30 seconds maybe till you can throw another one.
Yeah. I haven't played a lot of Destiny. I have friends who love Destiny, like who have played like raids and all that good stuff, but
Hmm.
I have never
I
been that
love the
much into it.
lore of Destiny, but I have not gotten into like the actual game yet. Like
Yeah,
more than just the first season.
yeah. Did you? Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but Destiny 2, like they went free to play, right? And Bungie has
Yeah.
started removing content from the game. Like they took out the first part of the single player campaign from the game. They like
Hmm.
vaulted it. And because my friends and I, we were going to play through the Destiny 2 story together. Then when they did that, we were like, well, what's the point now? We can't even start the story from the beginning. So I didn't think that was a very good idea on Bungie's part.
Yeah, I loved the Destiny 2 campaign too. Like
Yeah,
the
they
original story.
yeah, the are you talking about the Red War? Because that's the one they vaulted, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they vaulted it, and I mean, I don't really understand why they're doing that. It I'd have to look into it more, but it just doesn't seem like a very um, like consumer friendly idea. I feel like you should be able to
Uh-huh.
play the story from the beginning, you know.
Hmm.
But anyways, with Apex though, yeah, they're adding Fuse. Seems like a fun legend to play as. They're adding another weapon. It's a lever action rifle called the 3030 repeater. and they're actually adding Kings Canyon back into the game, which if you've played Apex, you would know Kings Canyon is the original launch map of the game. But after they added, yeah. And after they added World's Edge, which is the second map, it was like that was the only map in rotation. Then people complained and were like, "Well, I don't want to play only World's Edge." So they had both of them at one point, but then they changed it again after they released the third map, and then it was I think for like the past few months, it's only been World's Edge and the third new map, which is kind of sucks because some people want Kings Canyon to come back. Well, it's finally coming back.
Yeah, it's finally back for those people.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Back again.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Yeah, so Kings Canyon is
Great
back.
song.
Yeah, definitely. So that's it for the Apex news. And now we're moving on to Call of Duty, the Activision giant, the game that never stops coming out every year, despite the global plague, despite the devs who literally probably work like more than 40 hours a week.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no, these devs are, I don't even want to imagine. I think like one of the devs at Treyarch, his name is Vunderhaar, David Vunderhaar. I'm pretty sure he tweeted out like after Cold War came out, like everybody's like, this game's a buggy, glitchy mess. What's going on? And then Vunderhaar's like, hey, packing up my RV, going out to the desert. I'll see you guys in a week. He just yeeted out of there. I was like, some people were so mad, and I was like, that man's probably been working like more than 60 hours a week to make this game come out on time.
I'm sure he has been.
He just had to go out to the desert for, a week and, take a break. Yeah, and people on Twitter are like, fix your game, Vunderhaar. And he's like, no, I'm going to the desert. So I thought that was funny. But, yeah, so it was this past Thursday on February 4th, they launched, Treyarch launched their second half of Season 1 for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and that included the return of a multiplayer map from Black Ops 2, which is Express. Yeah. Did you play Black Ops 2 back in the day?
I was never one to play online that much, but I will say Black Ops 2 I played a lot of, just like either single player or with my friends. We played gun game or zombies all the time.
Yeah. I never, back when I was a kid, I think Black Ops 2 came out like 2013.
That sounds right. 2012, 2013.
Yeah. I didn't play games like this, but I wish I could have experienced Black Ops 2's multiplayer, because a lot of Call of Duty fans claim that was the last greatest Call of Duty in terms of multiplayer, and I never got to experience that. Now I recently tried to play it like a little over a year ago, and it's full of hackers now. Like, it's so bad. Yeah, dude, like every lobby was either a modded lobby where somebody was like, hey, I'm going to give you all the achievements in the game. Like, I went into a modded lobby, and I left as soon as I realized I was in a modded lobby. And then, after I left, I got all the achievements for the campaign, even though I've never touched the campaign in Black Ops 2.
I love the campaign for that game.
Really?
I loved the campaign for Black Ops 1 and 2. I want a remaster of Black Ops 1 and 2 for PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, the new engine, well, it's probably not a new engine, but a heavily modified version of the engine they've been using for like a decade, since like Call of Duty 4. But, it's a really nice engine. It looks great. I mean, Black Ops Cold War looks really nice. So does Modern Warfare. Some people argue about which one looks better or worse. I think they both look really great. But that would definitely be really cool. I'd love to see that, because I'm a huge fan of zombies. I've never been a huge fan of multiplayer, so I want more zombies remakes, because Black Ops 3, they released Zombies Chronicles, and that remade a lot of the Black Ops 1 maps, and it's so amazing to watch. Like, just eye candy. Looks so nice.
But they also, I will say, they changed what was my favorite part about zombies was how you start with just a pistol and you have to like get points to buy more guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Early Black Ops was like it depended a lot on whatever the mystery box gave you. And now like I know you can go in like with a loadout already. And like maybe story wise I get why that makes sense, but let's be honest, most people don't play zombies specifically for the story.
Yeah, and it's just I remember back because Black Ops 3, that's I believe if I remember right, that you always started with the pistol in Black Ops 3, and I absolutely agree. I started playing zombies in Black Ops 3. I went back and played Black Ops 2 and 1 later. To me, starting with the pistol, working your way up, that progression in zombies is what made it so fun. Yeah,
especially since like Black Ops 2, I don't remember the name of the map, but it's the one that has like a bus in it. I think it's called Transit.
Yeah,
one of the best guns you could get was on the bus. It was just a pistol. I don't remember what kind of pistol it was, but yes.
Yeah.
That was one of the best guns you could get.
Yeah, it's great. It's in Mob of the Dead too. You can buy it right before you reach like the other part of the cell block. It's near the first Hellhound head you have to feed to get the Hell's Retriever. That pistol is great.
I have no idea what that means.
You'll realize if you talk with me about zombies for more than like 10 seconds, you'll realize I'm a zombies nutcase. Like I know all the story, like all the Easter eggs. Well, I've never done a lot of the main Easter eggs, but I've done a lot of the side Easter eggs, and I've played all the maps.
Like I love watching people do that, but me specifically, I've never been good enough to be able to.
I did all the Easter eggs in Infinite Warfare zombies, but I've never done a Treyarch one, really, just because the reward isn't there. Like all they do is give you, like all they do is give you the all the perks in the game for like the rest of that match, and then you're done. Whereas Infinite Warfare Zombies was like, hey, you complete this Easter egg, now you can play as Kevin Smith on this map. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can play as Kevin Smith?
I mean, I'd be down to play as Kevin Smith.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Like he even does like there are zip lines on the map you can play as Kevin Smith. So whenever he rides them, he's like, he's like, I'm Fat Man or something like that. And I was like, it's so good, man. Kevin Smith. But but as far as the new zombies map for Black Ops Cold War, it's called Firebase Z. And it has a locale that I think a lot of people, including myself, like in the zombies community, have wanted. It's like Vietnam.
I was going to say it's in Vietnam, right?
Yes, it's in Vietnam. I've played it a couple times since it released Thursday, and it is amazing. I love it so much.
Really?
Yeah, because there's just so many cool enemy types. Because like I think one of the problems with Black Ops 4 Zombies is that every map felt very samey because they didn't do a whole lot to really change up the gameplay from map to map.
Black Ops 4, wasn't that the one where like you were in a gladiator arena at one point, or or am I thinking of Black Ops 3?
No, you're right. That's Black Ops 4. It's 9 is the name of the map.
Okay, but I feel like that one like it changed a bit. Like you were on a boat for one.
Yeah, that's my one thing. I love the different settings, but if you actually play the maps, they all play the same more or less. If that makes sense, because if you think about like maybe go back to Black Ops 2, like a map like Transit, even though a lot of people think it's bad, but you know that might be a little hyperbolic in some cases. But you have Transit versus a map like Die Rise versus a map like Buried. They all change drastically by setting, but they also change a lot in terms of gameplay and different like obstacles that you have to kind of overcome. If you ever played any of those maps. But that was kind of the problem with Black Ops 4, is that the gameplay was kind of similar across every map, when what made each map different from the others was the gameplay differences as well as the setting and the new enemies. So I think Firebase C is a great start for their DLC season because there's a lot of new enemy types. Yeah, and it's obvious the Vietnam setting is amazing. They do it so well. And there's like I played it with one of my friends. We were talking about like all the like just the generic zombies. There's so many like different types. That there's some that like have like the straw hats on with more
Yeah.
traditional clothing, and then like some are more in like 80s outfits, not like American 80s outfits, but I guess what Vietnamese people would be wearing back in the 80s. And then
Yeah.
there's some that are like charred, like they've been burnt. And then my friend and I were talking about like maybe they were people who died from like napalm or something, during the Vietnam
Mhm.
War, and they've been brought back from the dead. It's just cool. It's just such a
Yeah.
cool map. It's really
Mhm.
awesome. Um,
What's called Cold War is one of the games that I want to get once I get a PS5. 'Cause I'm refusing to buy any games right now until I can get one, and I probably won't be able to get one until the summer.
I gotcha. I One of my friends really wanted to play it with me, but I told him that I was like I'm refusing to buy this game until Activision fixes it, like until Treyarch, because I mean it was just so people were saying it was so buggy, like there were so many problems. People were saying don't buy this game. I was like I don't want to support them financially if they're going to release a product like that, and because while
Yeah.
I feel bad for the devs who are forced to churn these games out every year, even though there's like a global pandemic going on. I,
Mhm.
I mean, studios and publishers just need to stop releasing games that are unfinished.
I mean, I'm doing this. I'm kind of doing the same thing with Cyberpunk too. Like, I want to play it, but one, it's extremely buggy, and two, like I said, I don't want to buy anything until I get the next gen system.
Yeah, and oh my god, the Cyberpunk that game on current gen is apparently so awful.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So yeah, I'm just like I'm avoiding that at all costs too. But yeah, what happened was one of my friends was like, "Okay, well if you're not gonna buy it, the Cold War that is, if you're not gonna buy Cold War, I'll buy it for you." And I'm like, "What?" And then he bought it for me, and I was like, "Well, I guess I have this now." So that's how that happened. But yeah, so
Nice.
Cold Wars looks. I mean, it's a cool update. There's a couple of the things we didn't talk about, like a new multiplayer endurance mode with like uh, for I think it's called Fire Team Dirty Bomb in
Yeah.
Cold War. There's a couple other things like they added Tombstone Soda from Black Ops 2 into Black Ops Cold War Zombies, which is a really cool perk that they brought
I
back.
didn't. I don't. I wasn't really sure what it meant by "be turned into shadows to explore the dark ether." Do you know what that? Do you know what that meant?
Yeah, so you played Black Ops 3, right?
Yeah.
You remember the Gobblegum in plain sight? It lets you kind of turn invisible so the zombies don't see you and they won't attack you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that now.
it kind of your
Okay.
screen kind of changes to that, but the zombies still attack you. So you have to kind of like, but you keep your weapon you had. You just have to go and try to revive yourself. It's like Who's Who from Die
Okay.
Rise.
All right.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I
Have you
think it's.
gotten into the?
Oh yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
No, I was just saying I think it's pretty cool that they brought the perk back. That's all.
Have you got? Have you played the mobile game at all?
Call of Duty Mobile. I have never played Call of Duty Mobile.
I have not either.
Yeah, I think it's free? Question mark. I think it might be free with some obviously like microtransactions and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, any free game from like a big developer like that is gonna have transactions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and when you have a free to play model, it makes sense, right? That's how they get their money
Yeah.
back. If you really break it down from a business perspective, they only because when you release a free to play game, only like a small percentage of your player base is actually going to buy the battle pass or buy the cosmetics. So they're really relying on a very small number of people to fund the game, basically, or
Yeah.
to generate revenue. So I don't have a problem with free to play games doing that. But it's when I have a problem when it's like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which already charges $60 on current gen, 70 on next gen, and then
Is
they're
it
like,
really 70 on Next?
yes, Yes, they're trying to increase the price of all games to $70 for next gen.
I mean, I will say that I know that is like how it is in other countries too. Like the games are more expensive there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just don't see how it. I don't know enough about the business world of the games industry to really comment on whether or not it's justified to increase the price. But as a consumer, like I don't quite understand why they're increasing the price because it just seems like it's like, in my opinion, you're already paying for the new console. So why are you paying like another $10 to play a game on that new console? Because they don't have to. It doesn't cost developers anything to start developing games on the new like console. As far as I know, I mean,
Yeah, but I do think it goes into more of like with the new console, we expect them to be taking like full use of it and like putting even more detail into the game and everything. So I can sort of see the argument for charging more.
Right. And my perspective is just that I'm paying for that when I buy the console as well. Like that's the reason you buy a new console is because you expect all the games on that console to be better than the ones on the current consoles. That's just how I see it.
Like, if I am going to pay the extra $10, then you got to release a game that like actually works.
Oh hell yeah, no. That's the other problem is like they don't release games that work half the time now.
Yeah.
It's like I was talking to one of my friends. He's like, if you pre-order stuff, you're an idiot. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say every time you pre-order something, you're an idiot. Because there are some games that I know I'm going to buy regardless, like Doom Eternal. I pre-ordered that because I was like, I'm going to play it regardless. Like, I don't care what anyone says.
I made the mistake of pre-ordering No Man's Sky.
Oh, no.
And that was the last game I've ever pre-ordered. Unless it was something that like I knew was going to be good. I trusted it.
Yeah.
I like felt confident about it. That's the last game I pre-ordered.
I mean, the problem with me was like I pre-ordered Black Ops 4, and so did one of my other friends, and we had the utmost confidence in Treyarch because we loved Black Ops 3 Zombies, and we were like, "There's no way they can miss zombies. There's no way." And Black Ops 4 Zombies turned out to be, there's a lot of good and bad in that game, mostly bad, but it was a very bad product compared to Black Ops 3. Not even just zombies. Like if you play Black Ops 4 and just go through the menus, they're so laggy and slow, and it doesn't feel right. Like it doesn't feel like a finished $60 product. You know what I mean?
You say that I loved zombies in Black Ops 4, but I'm also like I'm not a huge zombies nut, which you've already admitted during this that you are.
No. Well, I could go into it, for like I could probably do a whole podcast episode on why Black Ops 4 Zombies failed. And it's like I was telling one of my friends about a game like Dark Souls 2 last night. And I'll say this about Black Ops 4. So, like when it comes to talking about the negative parts of the game, people talk about that a lot nonstop. People almost never talk about the good parts. So even if I went out and was like, here's why Black Ops 4 is a terrible iteration of zombies, it would just be adding on to the like hundreds of videos that have already been made on the same topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what did you like about it? I think that's an interesting perspective because I haven't heard. There were a lot of things I liked about it. During the life cycle, I actually defended it a lot, to people that didn't like it.
I mean, I just had fun running around the Roman Colosseum shooting tigers, or what's it called? Running around the Titanic trying shooting zombies. It was just like I said, I also didn't play zombies all that much to begin with, and especially I'm not sure I ever actually bought Black Ops 4. I think I just played it when I would go to my friend's house, so it's not like I played it all that often.
Yeah, I don't know how many hours I have on Black Ops 4. I have to check on my Xbox to see, but I definitely agree. The setting, like when me and my friend and I, when we first started playing Black Ops 4, we loved the settings. Like I agree wholeheartedly. I love being on the Titanic. I love the Coliseum. It was just so awesome, and that doesn't even include the DLC maps. The DLC map settings are even better or just as good, you know. So I do think there is some good in Black Ops 4 Zombies, and it was made for more casual like players. I feel like, you know, like, and I don't like using the word casual because that comes across as very condescending a lot of times, especially because there's some people like in the gaming community that like, oh, the casuals, you know, like that stuff. I don't like using that word, but that is what they sort of designed it around, was, you know, how many include like making it as accessible as possible for new players.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So, but we could talk all day about zombies, but gotta move on to our next story, which is about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie sequel. So,
Did you see this movie?
Yes, I was about to ask you that. I love the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Have you seen it?
I did not see it. I just assumed it was from the basis of like the first Sonic that they showed, like the one that everyone was like, no, you need to change this. From that alone, I just assumed the movie was going to be bad and didn't see it.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I remember that when that trailer came out, everyone was like, what is this disgusting blue CGI abomination? This is not Sonic. And they changed it. They were like, you know what, guys? You're right. We're going to delay the movie and we're going to go back and change.
That was shocking to me. Like, I was so happy that they did, because, I mean, it looked awful. But I did not think that they would ever actually listen to fans and like change it.
Yeah. I didn't either. I mean, because Hollywood is notorious for that stuff. Like, they will just not listen to criticism. You know,
we're learning that the internet has the ability to bully Hollywood.
Yeah, and apparently the internet has the ability to bully the stock market too. But the internet,
that was awesome when that happened.
Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, the Sonic movie, I think what I really love about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie and Detective Pikachu is that it shows that video game films are viable in the right hands, with the right team, with the right crew, you know? I feel like there's just been like, ever since like the old Mario Brothers movie from like the 1980s, there's been this stigma around video game movies because all the previous ones have been so bad, you know?
Yeah.
So I think there are some video game properties that would make great films. And I think it's just great that Sonic and Detective Pikachu have kind of proven that it's still possible. And there's a Mortal Kombat movie coming out this year too.
Oh, is that this year? I thought it was going to be next year.
Well, like HBO Max have been showing clips of it in all their trailers, you know, saying, hey, subscribe to HBO Max this year and you get to see all these films on the same day they release in cinema.
Sweet. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
What's up? I mean, Netflix is doing the same thing too. Like, there's the Castlevania show, which is awesome. And they've said they're making like a multiverse off of it with, really? I want to say Devil May Cry.
Wait,
they've said they're making like a shared universe through it. I don't remember the other game that they're planning to attach to it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like I think it's going to be like a Devil May Cry anime. I can't remember. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Castlevania Netflix series. I love that series so much.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, and especially the second season when you see everything from the vampire perspective. Like, you actually get to see how Dracula plans his war against humanity and everything. And it's so interesting. I really love it. And then the emotional drama at the end of the season, you know, when they finally fight Dracula, is just unforgettable for me.
You've seen season 3 though, right?
Yes, I have seen season 3.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it felt more like filler, but that's probably because of the high of season 2, like coming off of that.
Yeah, I guess. I thought season 3 was great, but at the same time, you're right. I feel like it was kind of a setup season.
Yeah, for sure. it was a setup season, but I think season 4 is going to be amazing. That's why I'm so excited
Oh
for
yeah.
that. I just like to see where the plot goes from there. But yeah, but the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, we know now that it's starting production this March. Um, and it was actress Tika Sumpter. Hope I said her name right. She was on Live with Kelly and Ryan, and she confirmed that the production is starting in March because that's when she goes back to film. And she said it's filming in Vancouver, Canada, and then Hawaii. So, and apparently before she confirmed this, there was already like a reported rumor that a movie codenamed Emerald Hill.
Hill, yeah.
Yeah, which pretty on the nose there because
Yeah, I wonder what Emerald Hill could be.
yeah, and I just thought about it now that we're reading it, but Emerald Hill is like the first zone of Sonic 2.
Yep, Emerald Hill Zone.
Yeah, so that's probably why they codenamed it Emerald Hill because it's Sonic 2, the movie, So that's something cool that I just realized. But yeah, I'm so excited for this movie. It releases next year in April, and from what I saw,
that's COVID permitting now.
Yeah, COVID permitting. I mean, maybe if there's still like theater restrictions and everything next April, they might release it on a streaming service too. I don't know what studio is making the Sonic movie. If it's Warner Brothers, it'll probably release on HBO Max, but
please don't talk like there's still going to be restrictions next April.
Oh, we can pray. I really hope not. I actually don't. I think we're almost through this pandemic. I think
there's hope for summer 2021. Maybe not like right away, but I think end of June, like through July and on, I think there's hope.
Yeah, especially now with all the vaccines that are coming out. Hopefully, something can be done to sort of ease restrictions more. We can kind of get back to some normalcy within safe parameters, of course. But yeah, hopefully next April the movie releases with no COVID issues or anything. So far, I don't think they've confirmed whether or not Jim Carrey is coming back as Dr. Eggman, but he has to. I mean, I don't know how. Do you like Jim Carrey?
That was the one reason I was considering seeing this movie was for Jim Carrey.
Dude, I remember when they announced like Jim Carrey was playing Dr. Eggman, I was like, all right, okay, we'll see where this goes. And they released the first trailer. Despite the ugly, Sonic, Jim Carrey killed it. My man killed that role. I loved him as Dr. Eggman so much.
I thought he looked great at least.
Oh yeah, he looks phenomenal. And the cool thing is like at the very end of the movie, like you see like something happens to him. I won't say what, but something happens to him, and then he takes on the appearance of classic Dr. Eggman with like the full fucking bushy mustache and everything. It is so, and I was like, oh my god, that is so awesome. And then Jim Carrey is the perfect actor for that. Because he's pretty much playing an eccentric mad scientist.
He's playing Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I mean, he's also playing Jim Carrey. I mean, I love Jim Carrey. I mean, Ace Ventura, The Grinch, The Mask, classic films right there. Love them. I mean, apparently he's like a political nutcase now or something on Twitter, but hey, man can still act.
Of course he is.
I feel like everybody on Twitter is a political nutcase at this point. Just saying, it's what it seems like. What'd you say?
It's kind of hard to not be one these days.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's just the more as the years past, like 2 years really have gone on, like everything's become more and more politicized, which really sucks. But what can you do? Yeah. But other than that, there's some other Sonic news. The Sonic the Hedgehog voice actor, Roger Craig Smith, is no longer voicing Sonic. And
Yes. Do we know who the new Sonic is yet?
last week when I was looking, Sega had not announced a new Sonic. There were apparently people on Twitter have been speculating that it could be Ben Schwartz, who voiced him in the movie.
All right.
Which, I mean, I saw the movie and I really liked him.
I unfortunately couldn't tell you the last Sonic game I've played, or even when that was. Unless you count Smash Bros.
He voiced him in Smash Bros. Like for anyone who doesn't know like exactly how long he's been doing Sonic, he's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is the insane part. Like he first did it back in 2010 in Sonic Free Riders on the Xbox 360 Connect. And he's been, like I said earlier, yeah. Wait, what'd you say?
Just remembering the Connect.
Oh God, I never had a 360 growing up. I just had a PS2.
Oh, I have one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But so
Interesting system.
yeah, and he voiced Sonic in Smash Bros. Like we said, and Sonic Boom apparently.
Yeah, in the show.
Yeah, and Sonic Boom seems like a funny show. I've seen a couple clips of it on iFunny, and it's like there's always some really funny fourth wall breaking that they do.
I thought that was the one that like a lot of people hated.
I'm pretty sure people would like hated either the show or just the art style. I know for a fact people did not like the art style, like the new direction, because there was
maybe that's just what I'm thinking of. Like I know Knuckles was designed really weird. Like he was tall.
Yeah, he was. There was a Sonic game that came out. I'm pretty sure it was called Sonic Boom, and that's the art style the show uses. So
okay.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that. But as far as Sonic games, I've only played like the classic Sonic games. Like I've played Sonic 1, 2, I played a little bit of 3, and I've played Sonic Mania, and I love Sonic Mania to death.
I had a Sonic game for GameCube when I was growing up. I don't remember what it was called.
Was it one of like the 3D Sonic games where where like you have to run forward and everything, like a linear kind of stage?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I know you could choose from like different teams of who to play as. Like there was, you could choose to play as Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic.
Yeah.
You could choose to play as Shadow, the chick with like the bat wings, and
I think her
name
like
a robot.
Yeah, I think the chick with the wings is Blaze. I think that's her name.
I don't think that's Blaze.
Oh. I have never played any of the modern Sonic games, so I probably have no idea. I was just trying to think because I've played Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics when I was a kid.
I have too, and I remember Blaze looking different is the thing.
Okay.
I don't think that girl's Blaze.
Gotcha. I have no clue. I've never played Sonic Adventure or anything like that, which is where I'm pretty sure the Sonic Adventure series is when they started introducing like all the other characters like Shadow and Blaze and the big like rabbit looking dude. I don't remember his name.
He was on another team that you could play as, and so was a crocodile.
Yeah. Because the original Sonic characters were just Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Metal Sonic, Eggman, and I'm probably forgetting one, but yeah, those are like from the original 3 games. So they just kept adding in more and more. Like, oh yeah, Amy. Amy's another one that I think is like Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, Amy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Sonic characters. But yeah, the thing that's crazy about Roger Craig Smith, I didn't know this because you played Batman Arkham Origins, right? You're a fan of that game. Yeah, I love Arkham Origins too. I think it gets a lot of flack, but I think it
does.
Yeah, but I think it's a way better game than people give it credit for. But Ben Schwartz, the guy... Oh, wait, no, not Ben Schwartz. Roger Craig Smith, the guy who does Sonic, also voices Batman in that game.
He voices Batman in that?
Yes. It's Roger Craig Smith. because I was
I
looking
just
at.
assumed they had the same person as the rest of the Arkham games.
Oh, no, Kevin Conroy. No,
Yeah, Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy voiced him in the other Arkham games and Arkham Knight, and he did Batman the Animated Series. I love Kevin Conroy. He's like the definitive
Yeah.
Batman for me. But no, they got the thing with Arkham Origins. Like one of the controversies at the time it came out was like they got some different voice actors because they wanted people who were younger
Yeah.
since the game takes place
Yeah, like I know
earlier.
Troy Baker does Joker.
Right? Yeah. And he does a pretty good Mark Hamill impression. I mean, because let's
Yeah,
not
I
beat
think
around the
it's
bush.
good.
Yeah. Like, let's not beat around the bush. It's definitely a Mark Hamill impression, but he does a pretty good one. um, and but I mean, I guess to give Baker some credit, they probably asked him to emulate Mark Hamill just because it's still the Arkham verse.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see what he had done if he didn't. But Roger Craig Smith, yeah, he did Batman in Arkham Origins. He's voiced Captain America in an animated like Avengers series, and he voiced Ezio in Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, wait, you're telling me this is the same guy who's like, Sonic's my name, Speed's my game, or whatever. And I'm like, that's the
Yeah, it's
same.
something like that.
Yeah, that's the same Ezio. Like, what? I thought that was cool. So even though he's leaving the Sonic role, you'll probably see him pop up in like other games.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear him again somewhere.
Yeah. And he's in not even just games. I watched a video about him. He's in regular show too on Cartoon Network.
That show's not still on anymore, is it?
Yeah, no, I realized I was talking like in the present tense, like that show is still on the air, but no, I meant yeah, in the past he voiced one of the later characters that they added onto the show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the last Sega news we have is what their creative director is stepping down. Oh no, he's becoming a creative director and he's stepping down from the role of chief creative officer, which is on the Sega board of directors.
Yeah.
And his name is, I'm going to try to pronounce this right, Toshihiro Nagoshi. And
that is how I was saying it during Roundup.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I actually when I was writing that script, I had to look up how to pronounce the name because I was like, I want to make sure that we try to get the name right at least. Yeah, Mr. Nagoshi is stepping down to be a creative director instead of chief creative officer. So apparently, Sega has been doing a lot of corporate reorganization recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, like they're not changing I guess their actual like development goals or anything, but they're just reorganizing the company a little bit.
They've said this hasn't affected like their fiscal year or anything.
Right. Yeah, this just seems to be like kind of like renaming and departments and I don't know, moving around stuff. But
Yeah.
Nagoshi is best known for he created the Yakuza series, which is pretty interesting. I've never played Yakuza. Have you?
I have not. It's one of the games that I want to play, and I think they're making a remaster for PlayStation 5, which once I get a PlayStation, I want to get.
Right. I know one person who has played the Yakuza games. He told me they're pretty fun. I've also heard people say Yakuza's just Japanese GTA, which that probably is very reductive and oversimplified description of it, but I would like to play it at some point. It seems like an interesting single player story.
One of my friends has played them, and he said like they're really good, but they're also like a lot of reading. Like it's a lot of story.
Right, like it's from your more story driven type of player. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean,
and it's not like how in GTA, like they have everyone just say everything. Like it's a text game. Like you have to actually go up and read it.
Yeah, which that's some people don't really like that. Like if you compare like something like Skyrim Elder Scrolls 5 to Morrowind. The amount, like, if you've ever played Morrowind, you have to read almost everything. Like, you'll talk to NPCs and they'll pop up with a whole bunch of, dialogue, and you have to read it all. So,
I've never beaten Skyrim.
Never beaten Skyrim?
I would just get lost after like leaving the prison every time.
I can't even blame you because the Skyrim main story, and me personally, I just don't like it. I know if you go on our website, there's actually an article from one of our former members, actually the founder of our organization, James. He wrote an article, criticizing Skyrim, and then another writer in our organization, Serena, she wrote a response to that, basically defending it. So the whole Skyrim controversy could go on forever about that. But I personally don't like the main story, so I don't blame you for never finishing it, honestly.
I would just I'd go through the first town, like not really paying that much attention, because of that I wouldn't know what to do next.
Yeah. It's a pretty big open-ended game, so if you don't know where to go, it can be pretty confusing, for sure. But with Yakuza, I mean, so Mr. Nagoshi, I keep I keep trying to stop myself from mispronouncing. Mr. Nagoshi, he like I said, he created the Yakuza series. Some people are like speculating about why he's stepping down. Some people think it's so he can become a more creative director. That way, he actually be more involved in the development of the Yakuza series. That's what this article talks about. But the thing that's interesting, I found another article last week. I couldn't find it again because it wasn't like a big news website like IGN. But it basically talked about how Mr. Nagoshi was in like a controversy last year.
I saw that. That was in Roundup. He insulted Japanese esports players.
Right. Like the article said it was a very culturally specific insult. Like it's specifically a Japanese. Like I forget exactly what it was, but he was basically calling those esports players like effeminate, like insulting their masculinity. Like kind of saying, I guess what we'd call it in like equivalent to English, like they're dorks. And there's people on Twitter, on Japanese Twitter, that were like, "Hey, that's pretty insulting. It's not cool." And he actually had to come out and apologize for it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think that's why. Because I mean, if that's the case, something would have happened last year, right? He would have, if they wanted to push him out because of that. They
probably wouldn't have done it sooner.
Right. They wouldn't have waited till now. So I probably am more or less inclined to buy because they haven't released an official reason why he's stepping down. But if I had to guess, it would probably be to maybe take a more active role in development. Because a lot of these people, they start out as, I'm assuming, developers. I mean, this guy did for sure because he created Yakuza. He actually founded the studio that continues to create Yakuza games. So,
and he founded a couple other studios too.
Right. And so I feel like, after maybe if you've been involved in the corporate side of it for so long, you're like, I got into this to make games. I want to go back and do that. So I can believe that, So, I mean, he came out and apologized for what he said. I feel like, nowadays a lot of people would like to cancel people over some stuff they say. Everybody slips up. Everybody says something every once in a while. I think it's as long as you come out and apologize and you're genuine about it, I think that's all that matters at the end of the day, So, but that's it for Yakuza. The last story we have is your story, Patrick, the WB Games patent. So would you like to explain, a little bit about that since you wrote an article for it?
So for those of you who don't know, Warner Bros. Were the publishers, I guess, of the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games. They are prequels for like Lord of the Rings. They had this really cool system in it that was like, basically there was a hierarchy to all the enemies. Like this org captain, this org lieutenant, there's that org general over there, and they all had to like report to one another.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also like you could mess with the hierarchy of things. Like if you kill, like say you kill a general, that org, like maybe the org lieutenant, or I don't know how ranking works, but like the next in command, a lot of the time would take his place. Or you didn't have to just kill him. You could. There's an option to shame someone, so you could shame him and like
Mm-hmm.
have him lose like 20 levels or something, and all the other orcs would be like, "Aha, no one respects you anymore because like the player shamed you."
You got your butt kicked.
Yeah, pretty much. That would make it so like no one would respect him, and maybe one of his lieutenants is now more confident, feels like they want to challenge you, and like now they like now they want to challenge the general to take his place and stuff like that. And it was really cool.
Yeah. And
now
I've
Warner Bros. Has patented it, so no one else can use it.
Yeah, like for anyone who doesn't know, if you have a new idea or a new invention, you can go to the U.S. Patent Office and file a patent for it and say, you have to be very specific with what the idea or invention is and say, I want to basically I want to own this idea, and anybody else who uses that idea, they have to pay me like a fee, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, and from a certain standpoint, we can all agree, like, when someone comes with a new invention or a new idea, they should be rewarded for it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's theirs. The problem is, like, this system is so easily abused. And when it comes to the video game industry, I feel like games really do inspire and develop based around the ideas of each other. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, so the Nemesis system is, like you explained, one of the coolest, most intricate uh, enemy systems you've ever seen in a video game. It's truly like extraordinary because I haven't played Shadow of War, but I've played Shadow of Mordor for about maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. It's very cool. It's very immersive, and I
So
just oh what?
writing that article made me want to go back and play it again, which I might later because think it's downloaded on my PlayStation.
Right, and I mean, it really does enhance the game, and it just like basically what this means is that any other game development studio that wants to make a game and implement like a similar idea, they now would have to pay WB Games or Warner Brothers to use that idea, or they'd be sued. They could be sued for violating the patent. And like I guess the best way to put it, like imagine if Bandai Namco released Dark Souls and they patented the idea of when you die, you lose some resource, and then to get it back, you have to go to where you died and collect it. That's a very specific idea, and you could, in theory, probably patent that.
Yeah.
And if they had done that, you wouldn't have a game, all these Soulsborne type games like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's nothing like Dark Souls in a lot of ways, but Hollow Knight has that mechanic where when you die, you can go back and collect your stuff. Like,
and same with Minecraft.
Right. And when you patent ideas like that, it just makes it really hurts the development and the discourse that comes from the creative aspect of video games, because now you're basically locking off this idea or this system and saying you can't do that in your video game because we own it, even though it might enhance other games and make them better, and it might start a whole new genre like Dark Souls did. If we patent it, that stops all that from happening. And it's just really sad. I don't like patents at all. And I mean, it's not patents affect the video game industry. Like just as an example, like original. Have you played the original Doom, like 1993?
I have not.
So if you go back and play the original like DOSBox Doom, like old Doom, all the crosses, like when you pick up a med kit in that game, the original, like all the crosses on the med kits were red. And then when Bethesda re-released it on Steam or whatever later, they changed all the crosses to green because the Red Cross organization has patented the Red Cross symbol. And it's like stuff like that
I've
is
never
just
thought about that.
yeah.
But that's weird.
Yep. Because I mean they can be sued. Like
Yeah.
and there are a lot of video games that have green crosses on med kits related stuff now and that's why. Because yeah.
I never knew why, but like thinking about that now, yeah, I guess I should have wondered why they weren't red, like Red Cross.
Mm-hmm. That's why, because
I guess I should have wondered why they weren't red.
Yeah, and that's another problem with patents. Like even when it's ideas that have already been, around for like ever. Because I mean, obviously before the Red Cross existed, the Red Cross was a medical symbol, or associated with like health or something. So it's like they're just patenting something that they didn't even come up with, but because they were the first to patent it in like U.S. courts, oh, you own the patent now, and it's like what? So
yeah, really.
Yeah, that sucks, but maybe there are some other ideas in the game industry that won't be patented, and I do feel horrible for all of the. I mean, I actually just remembered. What do you think is going to happen to games that already kind of have a system like this? Because Assassin's Creed Odyssey did a similar system to the Nemesis system, right?
I mean, I think because it was released already, like I'm not sure there's anything they can do because they've been applying for the patent since 2015, but they never got it until like I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the patent actually doesn't take effect until like the end of this month.
Okay, so I don't know how the patent law works, but I'm assuming, based on what you're saying, that anything made before the date it takes effect, they can't sue or try to take a license fee out of.
Yeah, no, anything that say Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out like just now today, then it's like legally unclear what would happen because the patent is going to take effect on like I want to say it's the 23rd.
Yeah.
But because it came out like before this month, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is fine. And according to some articles that I've been reading, like I guess the mercenary system that they use is like distinct enough to not be like legal infringement.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't because I was like, it does. I was wondering, like, is it different enough to not, infringe the patent? Because that's why they require like very specific. Yeah.
According to the article that I saw, like it was different enough. Which like the reason Warner Bros. Hasn't gotten this patent earlier is because the language that they were using wasn't specific enough.
Right. Because I mean, let's be real here. If they could just patent the whole system entirely and anything like it, they would. But luckily,
I'm sure they would.
Yeah, but luckily they can't because they have to have very specific language in their patent filing or whatever. So
yeah.
Well, that's all the stories we had for today. There any closing thoughts about maybe any of the stories that you didn't get to discuss before we moved on?
Honestly, more just like surprised how. Like it's not surprise is the right word, but just like I guess it's just been a while since I've talked about zombies and honestly Warner Bros. So now I kind of want to go play both of those again.
Yeah, I talk about
like Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, I own Shadow of Mordor, but I never finished it. I played it for like 3 hours and I just stopped playing. I'm very bad about picking up games and then not finishing them. That's if you talk.
I loved it because it had a combat system like similar to Arkham, which
Yes.
I love.
Yes, I've played all the Arkham games, and when I played that, I was like, "Oh, this is the Arkham combat."
Yep.
Which, from what I understand, has been copied in other games even before Shadow of Mordor, or maybe Shadow of Mordor just came out around the same time. Like, that's just another example. Imagine if WB Games had patented the Arkham combat. You wouldn't have Shadow of Mordor. Well, actually, no, they own. Yeah, never mind. They could still make Shadow
I
of
was gonna
Mordor.
say.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Any game that's not owned by WB or their publishing distributors, then they could sue. Like that's why it goes back to like, oh well, if you patent a new idea in a game, it affects all games that come after that may have used that idea. What if Epic had patented a
Yeah.
battle pass? I mean, like, you wouldn't have all. I don't know. It's just something to think about, like how patents actually affect things. But yeah, I agree. I definitely need to go back and finish Shadow of Mordor, and I do love talking about zombies. I would talk forever about zombies. It would be bad. I could just go for hours. So, but yeah, if you are interested in playing zombies again, definitely highly recommend the Cold War.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, because the thing you were talking about with like not starting with a pistol, the thing that they have done to kind of change that but make it work within the progression of zombies for Black Ops Cold War is you have every weapon has a damage tier. Kind of like weapon rarities in Fortnite. You have your common, uncommon, then rare, then very rare, then legendary. And so you can start with any of the weapons you want in zombies, but it starts out as a common damage tier. So, and the wall buy weapons all have better damage tiers. And the mystery box will give you random weapons with random damage tiers, and you have a higher chance of getting better damage tiers as the rounds go higher. And if you want to start with a specific weapon and want to use that throughout the game, you can, but you have to use salvage to upgrade the damage tier.
Upgrade it?
Yeah. So that's why I said Cold War Zombies is probably the best zombies mode they've made since Black Ops 3 because they've incorporated some of the new changes that have been made to zombies over since Black Ops 4 and 3, but made them better and fit, this progression that, hey, when you start out, you're supposed to start with very little, but then work your way up, So definitely, for sure, they do a really good job of addressing some of the criticisms that Zombies has had over the past 2 games. So I definitely think it's worth checking out. Yeah. So, well, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to TGC Radio. We'll see you next week with more news stories. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.